Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. Today is the 31st of March 2022, the end of the month, and we are going to enter April tomorrow. And April typically is a month where you gain approximately around 50% in the markets. This is a historical fact. And then in May, historically, the market has fallen. So that's why the old adage that sell in May and go away. So in my point of view, it's best to take profit somewhere around the last week of April, and that is my plan, unless anything drastic changes in the market. So having said that, let's get started with the daily update. The first part, as always, is going to be geopolitics, economical, as well as CRISPR news that might affect the market for the day. The second part is going to be technical analysis of Nasdaq and VIX to determine the direction that we are going in. And then finally, the third part is going to be technical analysis of the biotech shares that we have to see where they are likely to head during the day. So let's get started. So I'd begin by saying that if we were to take a look at S&P 500, it's up 11% from its lowest level of the year, which was as far back as around earlier part of March. And we are just 4% shy of touching the all-time high when it comes to S&P 500. So based on more than 7 to 8 decades of data, the experts feel that the momentum is likely to continue higher even despite some day-to-day choppiness. So that's what the experts are saying. Personally, what I feel is that what we have today is a very unique situation. We have the COVID still raging in parts of the world. We even have CDC and others recommending another fourth dose of vaccine. And we had inflation which was caused by supply chain related problems and was further compounded by oil. So oil price hike is the only thing we have in common, in my opinion, with historical records. So we need to watch this very carefully. How we treat the cause of inflation is going to determine whether we succeed or not, whether we're going to stagflation or recession, or whether we make a soft landing and get back into a normal trajectory. So having said that, I think I wouldn't go by what the experts are saying right now, and I would like to cross-check everything before making a decision whether to buy or sell. Now, if we look at the oil factor, which is the common factor between the past and the present, so what we have is a very confusing scenario. So during war, we can't trust information that is coming from either side of the fence. And we always need to double check. So we have a classic situation here in the case of the Western media and Western governments saying that Putin's advisors are afraid to give him the bad news about how badly their army is doing, and they are giving him wrong advice, and Putin doesn't have an idea of what's really happening. And on the other hand, the Kremlin is insisting that the US does not understand what's happening in Russia and how decisions are being made and what's happening in the battlefield in Ukraine. So they are both saying that the other party doesn't know what's happening and that a misunderstanding can have a really bad consequence. So this is the backdrop in which people in the market are going to decide which direction the oil price has to go. So we have that situation going on there. Meanwhile, Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov said on Wednesday that it would take a few days or maybe a few weeks to get restarted with the 2050 Iran nuclear deal. So basically, that's a message that, don't consider it to be a cakewalk to ratify a new nuclear deal with Iran and release Iranian oil back into the market, because Russia definitely has a say out there. And on top of this, what we have is President Biden declaring that he's going to release 1 million barrels per day from the strategic reserves so that the oil price can be tempered. And he's willing to do that for several months if required to keep a lid on the oil prices. And of course, he's most likely to follow through with his promise, because his approval rating is taking a beating because of the inflation, despite the other things that he might have accomplished. So all in all, I think the latest shiny object for the oil market investors seems to be the promise by Biden to release 1 million barrels of oil every day for many months in order to keep a lid on the inflation. And as a result of which, I think the oil prices are going to stay low today. We'll see that in a short while when I get into my trading view chart. Further, ADP non-farm payroll report yesterday revealed that the private businesses in the USA have hired 455K workers in March of 2022, slightly higher than the market forecast of 450K. Also, the chief economist of ADP said that businesses are hiring specifically among the service providers, which had most ground to make up due to the pandemic losses. However, a tight labor supply remains an obstacle for continued growth in consumer-facing industries. So that's where the labor shortage challenges are getting articulated much more clearly. And also yesterday, the quarter-over-quarter GDP growth data was released, and the American economy expanded at an annualized 6.9% on the quarter. That was 0.1% less than the street estimates. And still, it remains the strongest expansion since a record growth of 33.8% in Q3 of 2020. So we are still at the record-breaking levels when it comes to GDP growth. And out of this GDP growth in the last quarter, private inventories were the ones that led to the biggest upward contribution. So that's the story. Now, all of these are inflationary in nature, and that should give confidence to the Fed that they can go ahead and do their 50 basis point rate hikes. That's the direction I think the economic data seems to indicate the Fed should go. So having said that, it's almost time for the market to open. It's around 9:27 a.m. So let's have a quick look at the futures and then look at live Nasdaq, VIX and others. So let's do that. Okay, so let's quickly take a look at what's happening with our indices. Let's start with the US oil. US oil is down 3.53%. So basically, that means our thought process that Biden's 1 million barrel per day is going to cool the market has worked out correctly. So we have the resistance from the 9-day and the 20-day exponential moving average, and a support by this diagonal green line of support, which has supported oil for the longest time, all the way from 2nd of December 2021. And also the 50-day exponential moving average, which currently sits at 99.35. So the oil can decline today probably is up to 99.35 in my opinion, because it may likely bounce back from there. The MACD is bearish, which is a good sign, and momentum is dipping below average, so that's also a good sign. So everything is looking good for Nasdaq to do well today. So if we look at VIX today, VIX is up 3.83%. However, this could also be because of the Russia-Ukraine war concerns and the other aspects which are keeping the market preoccupied. But if we look at the Nasdaq, this is the live feed of Nasdaq. It's around 9:40 a.m. right now. And you can see that the Nasdaq has dropped minus 0.46%. So I'm thinking basically this is the kind of profit taking that's happening right now. And if we roll back and go further ahead into the long-term view for Nasdaq, and we can see that we have our next resistance, which is out here at around 375.12. So I'm going to draw a quick line out here to show the next resistance. So it's somewhere around 374.86 and $375. So if we bounce back from the 100-day exponential moving average, we are going to aim a resistance of 374.86. Our support out here our next support out here is going to be somewhere around 365.29. So we are most likely to bounce from here because the MACD is bullish and the momentum is above average, but it's aiming downwards. So that's the aspect that I do not like, but it's likely to moderate because oil prices are low, and that's likely to translate into more relief on the inflation front. So I think that we are likely to bounce off 365 and notch a little bit of gains before we move sideways to cool the MACD. So when we look at the Nasdaq, I'm using QQQ as a proxy for Nasdaq, we can see that it's down minus 0.55%. And even though oil is down, the volatility is up and Nasdaq is down. That means that the participants are taking profits after a steady gain. So I'm thinking that there's a good chance that we may bounce off 364.41, which is the support. However, if we did not do that, then we are likely to get support from the 100-day and the 9-day exponential moving average, both of which are sitting around 360.11 and 360.47 respectively. So that's going to be a support. And if you look at the MACD, it's tending towards the signal line, and momentum, though above average, is pointing downwards. So that's not a good sign. So I think today, if we do not bounce off 364.41, we are going to look at a red day for Nasdaq, potentially getting support at the 100-day exponential moving average. Having said that, let's go and have a look at our genomic shares. So out here we have the genomic shares, and I'm going to sort it out according to the winners on the top. And right now it is 9:49 a.m. Allogene is up 2.03%, and if we look at the chart, we got a resistance from the horizontal line 9.93, which is this horizontal red line, and we also have resistance from the 9-day exponential moving average and a support from the 20-day exponential moving average. MACD is bullish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is above average and pointing upwards, so I'm thinking that Allogene is likely to retain some of its positives. However, if the volatility continues to be high, and the Nasdaq starts a sellout, then it's likely to affect Allogene, and we may lose the positives that we have here. Regeneron is up 1.19%, and it is consolidating sidewards after a negative day yesterday. We have the 9-day exponential moving average still as a support, and all the exponential moving averages are lined in the healthy manner, showing a bull market for Regeneron. MACD is bullish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is above average and almost in an overbought state. So there'll be a little more gains for Regeneron, and then the gains will start moderating as we will start consolidating sidewards. So Regeneron will end the day positive, maybe $5 to $7. But for the next 15-20 minutes, we'll have some positives. After that, there'll be potentially a breather for Regeneron for the momentum to get back to the normal zone and the RSI to not be overbought anymore, and then we can have further gains. Novartis is up 0.32, and it's struggling with the resistance at 88.25. We opened up smartly, but we have gone down, and this candle currently indicates that the bulls are still struggling to maintain the gains that we made today. If you look at the MACD, it is showing bullish and moving away from the signal line. Momentum is above average. Let us go at the 1-day level to see what is the action happening. At the 1-day level, we are seeing that the MACD is bearish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is above average but pointing downwards. So we need to have a little more momentum before we can start to say that we can sustain the gains today. So if I go back to the 1-year time frame, I would say that if we end the day above yesterday's close, then that will be a positive for Novartis today. Novartis is likely to lose a bit of steam, especially if the VIX continues to be volatile and Nasdaq continues to lose. Vertex is up 0.23%. And again, you should note that we are at the close, at the very close of the resistance line that we have here, which was an earlier support line for the bull channel. So we are still within our new bullish channel. We are very close to the resistance, and therefore we are seeing a bit of consolidation out here. MACD is bullish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is pretty high and very healthy, but RSI is tending to be close to overbought. Therefore, we are likely to have a bit of a moderation, but we still have support from the 9-day exponential moving average. So we may have a red day for Vertex, but nothing to worry about. We are still steadily in the bullish channel. Now let's come on to Beam, which is up 1.14%. And we have a solid resistance by this diagonal red line, which has been a resistance for us, for our bullish channel for the longest time. So it's going to be difficult for us to break through above that. MACD is bullish and moving away from the signal line. Momentum is below average, pointing upwards. So we will end the day positive for Beam, but we may probably just about be able to break slightly above this diagonal line of resistance. Pfizer is down minus 0.26%, and it's got a resistance from the 9-day exponential moving average, as well as our resistance line at 52.48, which is this green line out here, which I'm going to mark as a resistance. So we need to break through that. We still have the support from the 20-day, 50-day, and the 100-day exponential moving averages. The MACD is bullish, but it's just about to cross over the signal line. The momentum is not supporting either. It's above average, but pointing downwards. So overall, Pfizer is having a negative headwind, and it may end up the day negative. And we'll have to assume that the 50-day exponential moving average will continue to be a support for us if the 20-day moving average fails to provide the support that we need. Illumina is up 0.31%, and it has got a resistance at the 362.92 level, which is this horizontal red line. And before that, we'll have to handle the 100-day exponential moving average, which sits at 360.08. We still have support from the 9-day exponential moving average. MACD is bullish, but it's tending towards the signal line. Momentum is above average and pointing upwards. So I think Illumina will still retain its positives today, and it will potentially test the support at 9-day exponential moving average before bouncing back. Caribou Biosciences is up 1.51%. That's around 14 cents. And it has got resistance at 10.04, which is this horizontal red line. And it has also got resistance from the 9-day and 20-day exponential moving average. The 9-day exponential moving average is at 9.38. Currently, we are at 9.40, so we are just broken above that. But the 20-day exponential moving average is our next challenge. It's at 9.46. Given that the MACD is bullish, but tending towards the signal line, and the momentum is below average, but pointing upwards, I would say that Caribou Biosciences might end the day either flat or positive. Verve is up 1.20%. That's around 29 cents. And we have the support line, the bullish support line that we have drawn earlier, still providing us support. So I'm comfortable with that. And also our 9-day exponential moving average is combining with the diagonal support line to give that extra support. Our MACD is bullish and moving away from the signal line. And momentum, though below average, is pointing slightly upwards. So I'm optimistic that we'll end the day with Verve being positive or flat. ARGI is down minus 0.11%. That's around a cent down. It has got support from the 9-day and the 20-day exponential moving averages, and it's got resistance from the 50-day exponential moving average, which is sitting at 47.73. MACD is bullish, but it's tending towards the signal line. Momentum is above average, but flat. So if the overall Nasdaq goes down and volatility continues to march upwards, we can see ARGI losing ground today and ending negative. Otherwise, we have an opportunity for ARGI to stay either flat or positive. So it all depends on how the Nasdaq is going to react to the increasing momentum. Next, we have got IMTX out here, which is flat from yesterday, and it has got the support from this diagonal line of support, and also it's got support from the 9-day and the 20-day exponential moving average. MACD is absolutely bullish. Momentum is above average but flat. I'm thinking IMTX is likely to end the day positive. CRISPR is up 0.18%. That's a gain of 0.6 cents. And we have the diagonal support line being breached at this point of time. MACD is bullish, but tending towards the signal line, almost ready to cross over to the bearish side. And the momentum is above average, but flat. So again, CRISPR Therapeutics is going to depend on how Nasdaq reacts to the VIX. So let's go and have a quick look at what's happening with the VIX and the Nasdaq. So if we look at VIX, it's up 4.55, so it's still relentless on its march upwards. US oil is down 2.96%. So compared to where it was before, the price has been going up because the losses have been recouped. So there's a bit of indecision going on with the oil prices. And when we look at the QQQ is still marching downwards. So we do not have a clear direction where the market is going. So when it comes to CRISPR Therapeutics, I'm not comfortable predicting the direction that it's going to go towards today. But given the fact that our 9-day exponential moving average and the diagonal are jointly providing support, and the 20-day exponential moving average is also the next level of support, I'm thinking that we are going to stay above this diagonal support line and end the day positive for CRISPR Therapeutics, maybe somewhere around the 35 to 40 cents range. of gain. Coming to Bluebird, it's down minus 0.51%, and our 9-day exponential moving average is becoming a resistance along with the 20-day exponential moving average. The MACD is bullish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is below average and it's flat. So I'm thinking that Bluebird is going to end the day negative maybe 10 to 12 cents or flat. So that is the range in which I expect Bluebird to perform today. Intelia is up 1.16%. It has got the support from the 9-day and the 20-day exponential moving average. And it still has support from this diagonal green line that we have here, which has supported the bear channel for the longest time. MACD is bullish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is below average but pointing upwards. So I'm thinking that Intelia is going to end the day flat or positive. DNA is down minus 1.42%. That's around 6 cents. We still have the support from the 9-day and the 20-day exponential moving average. And our MACD, though bullish, is tending towards the signal line. And momentum, though above average, is pointing downwards. So DNA is going to lose more money. It seems that the positive feelings of the earnings report is kind of lost. So we had a surprise revenue. That's what pushed up the market for DNA. That halo seems to be fading, and we are going to test the 9-day exponential moving average for DNA. Teladoc is down minus 0.19%, and it still has support from the 50-day exponential moving average. In fact, it has bounced off the 50-day exponential moving average. So let us hope that the 50-day exponential moving average can continue to provide support. If not, we are likely to test the 9-day exponential moving average. MACD is bullish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is above average but flat. So I'm thinking that the 50-day exponential moving average will continue to provide support for Teladoc today. PACB is down 2.2% today, and we have resistance from the 9-day and the 20-day exponential moving average. And we have the MACD, which is bullish but tending towards the signal line, almost ready to cross over to the bearish side. Momentum is below average and flat. So I think PACB is likely to lose another 5 to 6 cents, or maybe end the day with a loss of around 30 to 35 cents. So that brings me to an end of today's session. And I hope you liked this session. And if you did, please put a thumbs up there so that more people can discover our channel. And also, if you're not a subscriber so far, why not subscribe? It's absolutely free. It'll help me grow this channel. It'll help us grow this community and reach the 500 mark, where we can start getting the community hub and more interaction between us. And I have started a bit of experiment with going live. So yesterday I had my first live session at around 4 o'clock, just before market close. And it went off well, except that I was not able to interact in the chat window. And I don't think I was able to show the chat window. So I'm trying to figure out how to get all those things done in my software. So I'm going to be trying once more to get all those things lined up. So that'll be another unscheduled live session. So if you are around when I do a live session, just send me some chat messages so that I can fix the interactive chat feature properly. And once that is done, I'll announce a regular post-market session where we'll not only take a roundup of with the market action with regard to genomic shares at the end of the day, but also other prominent stocks which have either hit all-time highs or which have hit all-time lows, and if there is any opportunity out there. So that's about it from me. Take care. Have a great day. Bye for now.